What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. Basketball is almost back from the All-Star break. We're going to preview the Nuggets game and then talk about the keys for the second half for the Washington Wizards. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, Wizards fans? We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so we are finally almost done with the All-Star break. The Wizards play the Nuggets at 9 o'clock in Denver. So it's definitely going to be a challenging game for sure. We're not going to talk about the All-Star break and the dunk contest and the three-point contest. I know we were going to talk about it, but I guess we won't, talk too much about it. But what is your first key? I guess we'll do 2 keys each or 3 keys each. What's your first key for the second half of the season? And what did you think about the dunk contest and the three-point contest?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And the All-Star game as well.
Yeah. I guess I'll start with the All-Star game, man. Trash. I mean, it was hard to watch. No, it was not competitive basketball. It was just them hanging out at the gym, just shooting up shots. It was hard to watch, man. When I was growing up, I remember, MJ All-Star games where they played hard, like they were trying to win. I remember Shaq dunking on David Robinson in the All-Star game. I remember when they were competitive, and I think there was a report coming out that said that Larry Bird and a couple other players, former players, went to the locker room and said, "Look, try to make it a lot more competitive." And ultimately, it was just a dud. The dunk contest, the same. I remember Dominic Wilkins. I remember when you had the stars of the NBA at the dunk contest, and there's no shade on Mac McClung, man, because he definitely has some serious ups, man. But I mean, let's be 100 with it, man. A G League player shouldn't be the marquee name on the dunk contest. And it's just like, and the three-point contest, I know that Kenny Smith caught some heat. It was Stephen Curry versus a WNBA player. Both of them great shooters in their own respects. I'm not going to get into the comments, even though, I kind of see the logic of what he's saying. And basically what he's saying is like, in the WNBA, they shoot at their range with their ball, which their ball, I believe, is lighter, right? So yeah. I guess to make it more fair, because just the lightness of the ball with the distance was a problem. So, that's a whole nother conversation. But and I did like that part. I like the inclusion of the WNBA going back and forth. But like I said, the lack of competitive basketball in the dunk contest it's not like it used to be. I mean, I used to be excited to watch the NBA All-Star game. Now I'm just like I clicked on to something else. So I mean, it's what it is. Get into my first key to the second half of the season, man. Very, very important, man. I'm going to start off with development of young players. Now, I get it. The trade deadline has come and gone, and you still have some veteran guys in the roster, but, we can't take our eyes off the prize, man. Player development has to be key in the second half. And, definitely with Denny Avdia, because he's taking that step this year. He's definitely breaking out this year. Corey Kisper's looking really good this year. Bilal Coulibaly was trying to further his offensive game more and develop that part of his repertoire. And Johnny Davis, can we finally see some minutes? But development is key because eventually these veterans will be moved, whether, their contract just runs out in Tyus Jones, whether they get moved, Landry Shamet or Kyle Kuzma. But eventually the team's going to get younger. So player development has to be key, especially going to a rebuild. We got 2 first rounders in this upcoming draft. To add to the coffers of what we have to develop what we already have. And it has to be strong. You know what I mean? So this core has definitely had to be ready to add on to it because we can't add 2 picks where, the core is not yet there. So I think we're heading in the right direction. But I think player development, especially these young core, man, has to be key. Has to be key in the second half.
100%. Yeah, they have to key on and focus on the development of Bilal. Denny, him improving, him keeping it up, him just keep doing what he's doing. He's on a tear right now. He's on a heck of a run, on the turbo run again, 40 points, a couple double-doubles in a row, 20-point games and 20 points and 10 boards. Corey Kispert is blossoming. He's improving. He's had some pretty big games as of recent. We'll see what happened with Johnny Davis. Can he get more playing time? Can he develop? Can he at least get 10 to 15 minutes? I think that's reasonable, just to see what the young man has got before, they make a decision on him in the offseason. Jared Butler is a guy that possibly gets some playing time. Pat Baldwin Jr. is a guy that should see, at least throw him 10 minutes, get him some playing time. And they did sign Julian Champagne from the G League on a 10-day contract. So we'll see what happens with him. Livers hasn't gotten any playing time yet. So it's just really just focusing on the development. I know they finally moved on from DeLon Wright. The buyout happened, so maybe that can give up some more, give more room for minutes for some of the younger guys. And they traded Dale Gafford, which is not really going to mess with the minutes for the younger guys, but they finally made some type of move with DeLon Wright. Tyus is still there. But as far as the young guys, we want to see Bilal get more touches, more plays called for him, some more design plays. And, of course, he has to be more aggressive, work on his handle and whatnot. So some of it's on him, of course. But Brian Keefe definitely has to, get him going, motor his game for sure. And Denny is just, he's being more aggressive, which we really, really like to see. And, of course, his fan base is loving it as well. So I can't complain about that. I'm happy to see that. So that's huge. About the All-Star game, and especially the direction of the team right now, where we're trying to get the best pick of the draft, is better for us is just to lean on the development rather than playing. Veterans are going to get minutes, but it's better for us. It really should be focused on the young guys. All-Star game, just piggybacking on everything you said. You're 100% correct. They sit down Dr. J, Larry Bird, Andre Iguodala. So, they try. Like, Silver's trying. Adam Silver's trying. He's trying to get these guys to play hard and whatnot, but it's just not working. It's kind of turning into flag football for the Pro Bowl. It's just really getting to that. And they might as well just go out there and just play knockout or just, play
21.
21. That's kind of what it's getting to, honestly. It really is. And it's unfortunate to see, like you brought up, Kobe played hard at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Shaq played hard. Michael Jordan, of course. Guys were super competitive. Like, they played – like it was a regular season game almost. Kobe got his nose broken by Dwayne Wade in All-Star game. So you're just not going to see – I don't want to see injuries in the game, but, of course, it just shows how hard and competitive the guys were actually playing at the time. The dunk contest, Jaylen Brown was pretty awful. He tried to do the no look or whatever it was, D Brown tribute. That was awful. Then he jumped over
when he came down. He landed and then did
right. He already dunked and then did it. And then he jumped over the YouTuber streamer Kai Cenat, and that guy's like 2 feet tall. So, but shout out to Mac McClung. He's from Virginia, went to Georgetown. I hate that he transferred, but I'm happy that he won. But the 3-point contest, like you said, with Steph and Sabrina from the WNBA, that was probably one of the better parts of the All-Star break. And then Bilal had a solid game in the Rising Stars game. He hit it done.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's really disappointing, man. Like I said, I kind of tuned out, man. I found something else to watch, man. But I'm kind of going back to the one key to the second half of the season, man. I'm really guilty for not naming Jared Butler and Eugene Emery. I think those are two guys that I think are definitely key in. We need to key in on development too, because look, Eugene Emery's got some dogs on, man. He plays hard. He plays the right way. And every team needs a Eugene Emery, man. I think we need to give him in the second half, man. We need to see what we got in him, man, because, man, like I said, we talk about Draymond and players like Draymond or Dennis Rodman. Every team needs a Eugene. I think, Eugene plays hard, Same thing with Jared Butler. I'm really intrigued to see what they do with minutes, how they decide to give out minutes with DeLon Wright being bought out, because on one hand, Johnny needs minutes. On the second hand, look, Jared Butler ain't too shabby, man. Brother could play some ball. So I think he could be an asset in the future for this team, man. So definitely player development has to get better. But that's, like I said, still got the veterans on the contract on the team, man. But the foundation has to be young, because the future team really doesn't depend on Kuz or these vets. The success of the Wizards going forward really depends on Denny, Bilal, and Kispert, and Johnny Davis, Jared Butler, and Eugene Emery, because these are guys that are potentially could be on the team 3 years from now. You know what I mean? So and it's very important to see their development going forward, because it really paints us a better picture of what we're looking at in the draft. If we had those positions nailed down, we can go out and get that center. We can go out and get that point guard, which in this draft, man, look, people are really low in this draft, but I don't understand because, you don't have guys who can immediately come in and start, but this is a really, really sexy draft when it comes to development, man, and especially you got a lot of foreign players, a lot of players coming out of the G League. So it's not like it used to be where it was just college guys, man. You have a nice array of guys coming from overseas, playing in overtime elite, G League Ignite. You got guys who, they need to be developed. They're coming in, they're playing against competition outside of G League Ignite, which is their biggest the biggest criticism of them is they really don't play, really tough competition. But so yeah, I think that you got to develop these young guys second half. You got to see what you got, especially Johnny Davis, man. Lord have mercy. So I guess, man, we'll go ahead and we'll get into more keys to the second half of the season. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. So when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role, right? That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. So when I got out the military, man, I was searching for jobs and I was trying to update my resume. And man, it's easier said than done in the job market, man. And it was hard then, and it was 2011. Now it's in 2024, man. It's even harder. So definitely you got to lean on platforms like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you the access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all of that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 80% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Whoa. So all you got to do is post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you for 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. All right.
Yes, sir. All right, I'll go with my key. I'll go with Brian Keefe, Chief Keefe. You got to figure out what you got in him. We got to figure out this coaching position, obviously. You brought up Mike Budenholzer. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of options in this offseason. Do you stay with Brian Keefe or do you move on? And I think these last couple of games of the season, it's not the most fair thing to do, but it's what you have to do. You have to evaluate him off these last couple of games. And they're not going to win a lot of games, but you just base the evaluation of Brian Keefe. How does he develop Bilal? How does he get the best out of Denny? Can he get Jordan Poole back on track? These are some of the things that West kind of struggled with. Not kind of struggled, he did struggle with. And Bilal's a young player. He's going to have his up and down games for sure. So it wasn't all just on West, but can Keefe get Bilal involved and really motor his game and put him in the best situations to succeed with the ball in his hands, cuts, calling plays for him, get him involved offensively, not just standing in the corner. So those are some big things I want to see from Brian Keefe. Same thing with Denny, having him bring the ball up, running the offense. That's where Denny's been at his best right now. He's running the offense, bring the ball up. Jordan Poole, can he get him to lock in and focus and take better shot selection, get him engaged, get him involved, and better shot selection towards the end of the game. So those are some things I'm certainly looking for. Just better effort on the defensive side of the ball. We're not expecting them to lock down teams, but just better effort on the defensive side of the ball, rebound the ball better. So those are some things that you can kind of look at for Brian Keefe and be like, hey, can they improve on these things? They may not win a lot of games, which they are not, but can you see some improvement where you saw West guys were kind of checked out, getting blown out, waving the white flag in the third quarter, zero defense, So those are the things I'm looking for Brian Keefe. I mean, you look at some of the coaching candidates that are going to be available, Mike Budenholzer, Kenny Atkinson, Mark Jackson. I don't think he'll come to the Wizards, but you still see there's a lot of talent that's going to be Sam Cassell. He'll be available. I don't know if he'll be interested, but I've always been a big fan of Sam Cassell. And you look at Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they clearly bought Brian Keefe and David Vanderpool to basically replace Wes Unseld Jr. Like, we knew when Wes Unseld Jr. was still kept on the team, feel like that was more of a Ted Leonsis move, just being nice. Yeah. Once again, a nice move by moving him to the front office instead of just really 100% firing him. So I think Will Dawkins he knew and had hired these guys to come in and be like, hey, we're going to evaluate you guys after we let go Wes. Are we going to promote you guys to the head coach position, either one of those guys, or we're going to give you guys a shot to see what you do, and then maybe we have an outside hire, like I said, a Budenholzer. I know Mike D'Antoni is not a guy, but he's out there.
He can stay out there.
Yeah, Mark Jackson, Sam Cassell, Kenny Atkinson. Jock Vaughn just got fired, so we certainly don't want him. Yeah. But it's just showing the carousel in the NBA right now. You look at Doc Rivers, he's struggling right now, so he might not even finish the season. as the head coach of the Bucks right now. I want to say Frank Vogel might be available out there. So, but maybe they just want to do a guy who's not known, not like a household name. Maybe they get an up and coming guy as a head coach. So that's something I'm certainly looking for. Keys is just coaching, evaluating the coaching and how this staff does for the last part of the season. So can they get the best out of guys? And does Keefe impress to the point where it's like, hey, let's just promote him, And they had Randy Whitman at one time. They promoted him to the coach.
Yep.
So you see how things have gone in the past for the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, all arrows kind of point to them giving Brian Keefe the second half of the season as kind of evaluation period to see how he can do it. And you've seen a change with this team. They're playing hard since he's taken over. Wes Jr., they took the approach with the up and coming assistant coaches before Wes Jr. and it wasn't a good hire. And obviously they didn't know it at the time. But I think that, if Brian Keefe does show what he can do, there's a good chance he could take the Randy Whitman approach and go ahead and become the permanent head coach. And like I said, I like what I see from him so far. I like what I see from him. He's definitely getting a lot more out of the players than West did. No disrespect to West, but it is what it is. But Mike Budenholzer is the type of hire that's going to attract free agents down the line. And if you look at what he did with the Hawks, you look at what he did with the Bucks, especially with the Hawks as far as developing young talent and helping them build up from the ground up. Because I believe at the time when he was coach, Danny Ferry was GM down there. And in Milwaukee, obviously, they already had established people. But I think that, you aim high for coach. You definitely, kind of look at the Washington Commanders. They went out and they aimed high. They looked at the candidates. And obviously, we're not going to get into the Commanders, with Ben Johnson. But they redid the whole staff. They went out there and they got the right people for the job. And that's kind of where I'm going to it is that go out there and find the right pieces. With Brian Keefe, we may already have our coach. Because like I said, he knows what he's doing. Kevin Durant had high marks for him. So, like I said, this is definitely going to be an evaluation period the second half of the season. But then, you want to go out there and make a be movie? Budenholzer is definitely a name that I would attract. Sam Cassell, if Bradley Beal was still here, that would be a guy because that was his guy. That was the guy that he wanted before we hired Wes Jr. So, and when Brad was on the team, I thought that Billy Donovan might have been a guy because that was his college coach. But anyway, so yeah, look at the coach. I think we'd be all right, man. Whether it's Brian Keefe or going out there and getting another guy, man, we're definitely heading in the right direction. So I guess we'll slide into another key to the second half. Another key I got, is veteran leadership / allocation. And what I mean by that is, look, Kyle Kuzma, he's here. He's definitely our leader guy. He's definitely our veteran leader. He's the Jordan Poole has to be a leader, but because both of these gentlemen bring championship experience. So we need them to be a leader to these young guys. But what I mean by allocation is shot attempts got to get lower, and Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are going to have to divert to the young guys a lot more. Shot attempts got to come down. Usage rate has to come down. I want to see a lot more ball movement, a lot more team basketball. We got to get these young guys more involved in the offense. Tyus Jones is obviously the point guard, but I like to see the offense flow through Denny a lot more. See the ball a lot more in his hands. Utilize his vision. I like the two primary ball handlers I want to see is Tyus Jones and Denny Avdia. Bilal Coulibaly, getting him in the best spots to shoot. Because that's part of the development of catching and shoot. Get him in the best position to get the ball off. So I definitely want to see them get them more involved in the offense. Not so much ISO have the ball, not shooting the ball 25 times. As far as Jordan Poole, shooting high percentage shots, man, because that helps out the young guys, man. Utilize the shot clock. Let the plays run through. That helps out the young guys. Because it kind of goes to the first key, man, is that we've got to develop these young guys. We've got to see what we have. So in order for that, Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are going to have to take the leader. They're going to have to be a leader and be a professional and say, look, I need to step back a little bit because, look, at the end of the day, this is a rebuilding team who's trying to develop young talent. So they're going to have to step back and be leaders, in my opinion. So to me, that should be a vital key to the second half of the season.
Yeah, definitely on that because I Jordan Poole, he this is my key too. So my key is pretty similar to yours for my second one. It is just Jordan Poole. Yeah. Just this last half of the year. Can he lock in? Can he improve? We've seen some good games from him, and we've seen some really bad ones. He's so talented. I just want to see him play better. I don't want to see him get booed and the fans saying F Jordan Poole, terrible shot selection, him carrying the ball, Shaq to the pool, Shaq to the full moments. Just, get the silly stuff out of his system. I don't want to see Kuzma yelling at him because he's so bad defensively or just the shot selection. The long right, he's going now, but the long right yelling at him, teammates yelling at him. I want him to have fun and play his game, but play within the offense. I know you brought up him coming off the bench. If that has to be the case, so be it. If that's better for him to go up against second unit guys and bench guys, he's able to, freelance and do more of his own game because he is more of an isolation player where, he's freelancing, dribbling the ball a lot of and big save kind of dribbling and stuff like that. And that's the better suited for the second unit than Brian Keefe. That's the decision for him to make. And that may just be better for him. I know it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow because he's getting, $28 million a year.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett said great things about Diddy Avdia in his podcast with Paul Pierce. He couldn't even pronounce Diddy's last name, but he was like, oh, that guy Diddy, he's good. He's good. So, Kevin Garnett gives some praise for Diddy. He gave some praise for Jordan Poole before the season. He said Jordan Poole was going to be the next James Harden. And then 3 games in, he said he shouldn't even be in the NBA. Yeah. So that's kind of just how the fall off or how disappointing the season has been for Jordan Poole. So can Jordan Poole right the ship for him? Can he change the narrative for him right now and show that he's that great player that he was for the Warriors when they won the championship? Because they wouldn't have won that championship without Jordan Poole. He put up 30 points against the Grizzlies. He had some big games. And I was excited when we traded for him. Everybody was. Yeah. I thought he was going to be a steal to trade Chris Paul, who's 30 years old, for a young guy, Jordan Poole, who's just super, super talented, but he just hasn't played up to that talent for whatever reason. We're talking about sports psychology, a psychologist for him. Get the help that he needs so he can focus and play the best of his abilities. And if he's not in the long-term future, at least play well enough to the point where, hey, we can help you, move to another team where, he may want to be more. I don't know how much he wants to be here sometimes. Some nights it doesn't look like he doesn't look like he wants to be here. So if he wants to be somewhere else, you got to at least have your value up where other teams are going to look for you, because we kept saying, no other team is looking to trade for him. Yeah. Everybody had interest in DeLong Wright, Kuzma, Gafford, Tyus, and that's about it. We didn't hear anything about Jordan Poole. So can Jordan Poole right the ship for the last 30 games of the year?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Changing the narrative is huge for Jordan Poole, man, and I think that, yes, switching him to a 6-man role, coming off the bench, let him be that bench scorer. Let him be that microwave scorer off the bench, because he is a ISO heavy guy who needs the ball in his hand. So I think that is, switching him to 6-man, I think is key, and maybe starting Bilal or maybe starting Corey Kispert at 2 guard. That's definitely a direction I think they need to go, because he needs to change the narrative. Because here's the thing: this could be a situation that we can exploit. And hear me out real quick. Look, eyes are on the Wizards, and you don't see many eyes on any other lottery team right now. I mean, the thing is, Jordan Poole brings a lot of notoriety to this team. Eyes have been on, especially in the beginning. And everybody's wondering how he's going to do without, the Golden State Warriors. And a lot of eyes on this team. And really, we never really had that. I mean, people talked about John Wall, Bradley Beal in those days, but we didn't have a lot of buzz like we do now, especially for a team that's won 9 games at this point. So exploit that. Get him right. If he can right the ship for himself, and if we can get 1-2 years from now, we got young talent that's ready to blossom, free agents are going to want to come here, especially if we go out and get a coach, or if Brian Keefe takes that step himself. We're all arrows are pointing in the right direction. I mean, it's early on. Put your seatbelt on because it's going to be a ride, but the rebuild is pointing in the right direction. So use that buzz that Jordan Poole generates. That'd be a heck of a story. You struggle and you come back and get it right, and then you blossom on a team, and then you can be that piece going forward. That's what I want to see for Jordan Poole, because it's exciting to see these guys take a step forward. Everybody gets on us about criticizing, but all we want to see is them flourishing. Denny, as much smoke as we gave him, it's exciting for both of us to see him flourish, man. You know what I mean? To see him take that step. So for Jordan Poole, I want to see him flourish in DC. I want to see him take that step. And so use that buzz he's got. If he can right the ship, we got young players here. We got 2 first-round picks. We build this team, and then look, we got that coach. People are going to want to come to DC at one point. So I think we should take advantage of that. But yeah, he's got to be able to put in that work. He definitely has to be willing to put in that work and change the narrative, because right now it ain't good. Nobody is willing to. I mean, you know what I mean? So, it behooves both the organization and Jordan Poole to get it straightened out. So we're going to get into our last keys to the second half of the season. And we're going to do a preview for tomorrow night's game in Denver against the Nuggets. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. So get your buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's right. That's $150 if your bet wins, though. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Basketball Association. So, I guess we'll slide into my last one and then your last one, and we'll knock out the preview for tomorrow night's game because we're kicking off the second half. So the last one I got, is building a winning culture. Look, we are in the beginning of a rebuild. Part of the foundation is building the right culture. We look at a lot of organizations like the Miami Heat, the Heat culture. Even if it seems like the New England Patriots, hate them or love them, they say the Patriot way. There's a lot of teams that are synonymous with having a culture of playing hard, playing to win. That's the type of culture I want to see in DC. I want to see them build a culture where you play to win. Obviously there's a talent gap, but you play to win. That is the right culture move. So, and then like we both said, that after the deadline, or rather after Brian Keefe took over as interim head coach, you see a little bit of that fight. They're playing good teams hard. Continue that. The second half of the season, what my expectations are, playing as a team, playing hard, and playing to win. We know they ain't going to win many of these games, but, you play to win. Build that culture, man, so we can start developing and build that culture, man. That is pivotal to a rebuild in D.C.
Definitely, you got to establish a culture. We need an identity going forward, especially for the young guys and the draft picks that we're going to get in the future. You have to establish a culture, and that's going to be a big part for the front office too. What kind of guys are they going to draft?
Yeah.
What kind of guys are going to bring in through free agency? You see the way Denny's playing. Denny's playing with a lot of physicality. So do they want to be a physical team? Do they want to push the pace? What is their identity for sure coming up? And with a rebuild and a recalibration, you have to establish a culture and identity. We just haven't had that for the past couple of years, and that's kind of been our downfall. When we had John Wall, like you brought up, we had an identity. Death Row DC, we played fast, we played quick, we were physical. Gortat was physical, Markeith was physical. Even when we had Nene was physical. Bradley Beal was physical getting to the basket with those first couple of years with John Wall, of course, too. So, we were a fast running gun team that played hard, and you respected John Wall and Bradley Beal every time they stepped on the court for sure. So we got to establish that with some of the young guys that we got here and some of the draft picks that we bring in, of course. So that's huge for sure. And then transitioning into the Nuggets game, it's going to be an uphill battle, of course. They are fourth in the conference. Of course, they got Nikola Jokic. Now, Wes Unseld Jr. we'll see if he's going to be on the court, see his favorite player, Nikola Jokic. They always hug it out before the game, but since he's not coaching, that won't happen most likely. So we won't see that. But just looking at the Nuggets, they are – look at some of their numbers here. Pace, they're 28th. We're first in pace. They're 28th. Yeah. So they're a slow-down team, obviously, because Jokic, he runs their offense. And we know he's not the fastest guy in the world. Defensively, they're sixth in opponents' points per game, so they're a good defensive team. Points per game, they're 19th. Offensive rating, they're 13th. Defensive rating, they're 11th. And they are the defending champs. So, what are you looking for? And we're not going to see keys to victory here. We're just going to see we're just going to say keys to development.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like we always say.
Yeah. One, I'm gonna say push the pace. Like you said, they are sixth in points against, man. So they give up a lot of points, man. So I would definitely push the pace, attack them, attack. Inbound the ball and move, push the pace. Definitely was try to catch them off guard defensively because, defensively they're very fluid, man. But I think we need to push the pace because they give up a good amount of points, man. So it's definitely exploit that. Second thing I want to see, defensive intensity. They are eighth in field goal percentage. So, look, they get a lot of looks, and they shoot a lot of high percentage shots. They are a team that the chemistry shows, man. They got a championship pedigree. So, how do you combat that? We got to get in their face. We got to get nasty on defense, man. Bring that defensive intensity. Get in their face. Talk some junk. Let's get that intensity on defense, man. That's what I want to see. Shaman, look, your little attitude, and that's all I'm saying, man. And the next, hit them in the mouth on defense, man. Like you said, as far as they're a slow team. So look, you want to do a full court press, make it hard for them, get creative defensively, because this, like I said, this team is going to be tough because they got a championship pedigree. They know how to play with each other, man. And it's tough to see KCP over there, man. But, definitely shout out to KCP getting that ring, man. But that's what I would do, man. I would definitely push the pace on them, catch the defense off guard. Defensive intensity has to get high because, look, you got to make it hard for them to shoot, man, because they shoot a lot of good looks. They practice good fluidity as far as ball movement, and definitely hit them in the mouth for defense, man. Get in their face, man. If you press them full court, press them full court. But they're going to bring the ball up. Let them bring the ball up. All right, be slow with it. Get in their face. Definitely make it hard for them to set up. So
those are some good keys for sure. I would say, like you said, pushing the pace as well, making Jokic move, make him move his feet. Bagley running the floor as much as possible so you can get some lobs, putbacks. And Jokic, I wouldn't double him. That's the downfall of West. West would double Jokic sometimes. And, of course, Jokic is going to get 20 assists. If he does it, he'll get a triple-double. I could clearly see him doing that pretty easily. Actually, last year when we played them, they broke the record for points in the paint. I think they had like 100 points in the paint or something like that. They broke the record last year against us under West Until Jr. So that's something we're gonna have to definitely gonna have to stop. You're not gonna stop Jokic. You can only somewhat slow him down. Defending the 3-point line, you brought up KCP. He's a heck of a shooter. They got shooters across the board. Jamal Murray and Christian Braun. You said who else? Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, he always hurts the Wizards a lot. Reggie Jackson can come off the bench and hurt the Wizards too. Peyton Watson's been pretty good for them off the bench too. They're big man. DeAndre Jordan, you got to watch out. Even though he's like, he's been in the league forever. He's a rim running big. But yeah, just play our game. Like I said, push the pace. Guys got to be focused, and let's see what Diddy does, man. I'm really intrigued to see what he does against a NBA champion team. I want to see him and can he keep it up? Does he keep the flame going, the turbo going after the All-Star break? Can he keep the consistency going, especially with Kyle Kuzma coming back? Because a lot of people kept asking us, can he do this with Kuzma? He's done it before. He's not going to put up 43, but he's put up 25. He's done it before with Kuzma, so that shouldn't be a problem. Ball movement, just getting back on defense and defending the 3-point line, and rebound is going to be huge for Bagley. So Bagley's going to be guarding Jokic. Like I said, it's not going to be a good matchup for anybody, but that will be a tough matchup for Bagley. But Bagley should be able to run the floor. And I got Bagley getting at least 15 points, but rebound is going to be huge. Rashawn Holmes, what does he do? We know Tyus is going to be a facilitating point guard. He's always going to do his job. And then Jordan Poole, we'll see how he does in this game. Can he be consistent as well?
Yeah, man, I think that those are definitely good keys to the game, man. Because like you said, that was the big question. Going back to Denny and Kyle Kuzma, can he play with Kyle? I think he can. I mean, and that's why I kind of hinted at Kyle Kuzma kind of stepping back a little bit and let the young guys kind of come forward and take a lot more responsibility, because I think that's key. The usage has to go down for them for the second half of the season to be successful, in my opinion. Because it has to be about development. It has. And, go back to Denny, man, keep his foot on the pedal. You can do it now. The biggest thing now we want to see from Denny is being a consistent threat. Look, 43 points, man, he looked good. He was aggressive. The confidence was there. Definitely, I want to see him eat against a team like Denver, man, because that'd be hard marks. Because Denver, man, that's a tough team to play. The Western Conference looking good this year, man. We'll see. I think it's a good matchup to see what these, even though we're going to win many games, man, I think matchups like this are good because it shows really where our young guys are, man. It's one thing to drop a good amount of points on the team like Detroit or San Antonio, but you play well against Denver, man. That's going to say a lot about the progress and really where these young guys are going to be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. But I believe it's tomorrow night with 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
definitely tune in.
Yep. So I got my FanDuel picks. We'll see if Brandon jinx these. I got Denny getting over 15 points, and that's the one that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Denny to get over 15 points. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow night if Brandon jinxes it.
Got you. We definitely gonna see tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. I just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Make sure you guys check it out. Hit the notification bell as well. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.